Woman Show. My name is Sandra. I am the different woman. According to a South African proverb, you cannot use one finger to beat a drum. You need all of your fingers, and even if you use sticks, of course you still need all of your fingers. That is to remind us the importance of community, our collective, unity. Because no one is an island, and isolation kills faster than any disease. We all know that. Teamwork makes the dream work. I can go on and on and on and on, but this is just a reminder that you need to find your tribe, a place where you can be valued and where you can contribute value. Today we're going to be spotlighting an amazing woman who brings all of her energies. She brings it to the fore. She bears it all on the ground. She lays it all before us. Yes, she's an amazing woman. She's a strong woman, and I cannot wait to introduce her to you. But before then, do you know that there is an unspoken secret about the woman's body?
Wow.
Yes, a very, very hidden but open secret. The secret we don't want to talk about, even as women. Yes, the secret called menstruation. How did you feel hearing that? How did you feel about me saying it out loud? The moon time is that time of the month that we prefer not to speak about. Yes, that the woman has been taught to believe is impure, and there have been so many stories about how the woman should treat herself or be treated around this time. Hey, let's take a trip down history lane and catch up on the evolution of menstruation.
The word menstruation is gotten from two words in Latin and Greek, meaning month and moon. It seems the separation between the moon and the world has created a separation between the woman and her world. Somewhere in Australia, an Aboriginal girl has to live in a hut built by her mother throughout the duration of her menstrual period. After which she goes to the river to have a shower and cleanse herself from whatever infections or diseases the gods of menstruation have placed on her. This practice can be seen replicated across different tribes and religions across the world. But somewhere on the African continent in Congo, the woman's first period is celebrated by the community. The woman is given some form of education by the older women. She's taught about her body, sex, and boys. This comes as a relief, as menstruation has been seen as a punishment on women for the relationship between the moon goddess and the sun god.
So you see that a lot of the biases towards women and by women themselves have been propagated by the society. So what are your thoughts right now? Should menstruation be considered an open secret, or should we have conversations about them for enlightenment's sake? Of course. Let me know your thoughts and why we should sweep it under the carpet if you believe we should. I think we should have conversations about them, and that's why we are talking about it right now. So hey, get involved in this conversation and let's hear your opinion about the woman's menstruation. To my special guest. She's a woman of caliber, a woman of character, a woman with value, a woman who is not ashamed to own her spotlight. Yes. This show is all about the messiness and the beauty. Yes, we're not all about the fluffs, because hey, no one has got it together. What is perfection anyway? Is that the noun, an adjective, a verb? Okay, so this woman I want to introduce you to. I love her because she is not scared to say it as it is, and hey, that's what we're here for. So, are you ready to connect to this amazing woman? Let's go hear our story.
My name's Amanda Reel, and I am currently the director of executive storytelling for a company that does ghostwriting for executives. And I'm also an executive coach. It's been a journey to get here, figuring out just overcoming obstacles and also figuring out what it is that I was created to do. And I think that's kind of an ongoing process. But I was raised in my early life by a single mom who went through college. She had me when she was 17 and then finished 4 years of college after that, got a job. She's also an entrepreneur and a writer. And so she's been a great example to me of somebody who's trying to just make it happen despite difficult circumstances. So that's been a really wonderful connection for me. I went to Bible college when I was 18 and got a degree in Bible and theology and pastoral ministries, and then spent a little over a decade as a pastor in an intentional living community in a Christian church. That wasn't a paid role. I was also working full-time other jobs, like sort of administrative jobs while I was doing that. And we were just seeking to live life as a family and provide family for people who don't have family. I found myself falling into a lot of administrative type roles, helper type roles in an office setting. And I do feel like I ended up in that place because it's just a natural female role to come into. Like I want to be, a helper, and I want to be an assistant to people and make things happen. Like it makes me happy to make other people happy. But I think what it took me many years to realize is that I'm not good at that. Like I'm not organized. That's not where my genius is. That's not where my skills are. And so I was really, really bad at those jobs, and even thought that I was lazy, like a lazy worker. Because I always had been a writer, but since the beginning of my life, like even as an elementary school kid, I was winning awards for writing and things like that. But it just never even occurred to me to do that professionally. Probably because my life's work at that time was in the ministry. And so I was just trying to do whatever I could to fund that. And yeah, so I leaned into something that was sort of an old passion of mine and found that I loved it and I was good at it and people were hiring me to do it. And very quickly I was able to start a company where I had people working for me, doing administrative work, doing some of the excess work that either I didn't want to take on or I didn't have time to take on. And I just sort of kept growing it. And then one of my clients, who is my current employer, invited me to come on full time to hire and train all of their ghostwriters. And so that's where I'm at today. And then as far as serving people, I have completed my executive coach training through Coach Training EDU, and have just been so grateful for the opportunity to learn how to listen to people in a completely different way. I've learned so much about how people have the ability to solve their own problems if you're just present with them and supportive with them and help them navigate that. I like to call it like help them untie the knots, that are happening in their lives. So that's been a really amazing part of my life, and hopefully will continue to become a bigger part of my life. I'm not a pastor anymore. Probably not. Yeah. So, the church was a really important part of my life, especially when I was a teenager, because I didn't grow up in the church. And like I mentioned, my mom was young. She got married to my stepdad when I was 7, and we were all kind of growing up together, and it was pretty difficult a lot of the time. We had a difficult time getting along. There was just complicated dynamics. And so when I was invited to the church as a young person, I found family there. I found mentors. I found people to love me. I found friends in a better way than I had found at school, and just purpose and meaning also. And so I just really fell headlong into everything that it meant. I ended up being really involved with my youth group and different things that I was pursuing at the time, like theater at school and stuff like that. I just ended up not being able to do because I wanted to be spending time with my church family and and really just wanting to make a difference in people's lives. Just that towards the end of that experience in our intentional living community church, I was not the head pastor, I was just a pastor, and our lead pastor is just a really, really troubled guy, and really a bad guy, and ended up abusing several women, including me. And so there was, and the reason why I think it's important to tell this story is I felt like I was a strong woman leader, right? And so a lot of people thought that this type of thing couldn't happen to me because I was married at the time and I just had a really strong personality. Nobody would ever, take advantage of me. But he weaved a narrative that, he was just really sad, and that, I was the only person that he had ever, talked to about certain things. And I was trying to just keep him afloat in order to keep us all afloat. And in doing so, he really took advantage of me and put me in very, very difficult and uncomfortable situations. And it's not that experience that causes me to not be a part of the church right now. I think right now where I'm at with all of that is just in a place of listening. I think for a long time, my belief system was very limiting in that I felt like there was a pretty narrow view of what the truth was. And that was a pretty recent experience too. So the season of life that I'm in right now is just one of learning and listening to others, and listening to the experience of others and how they're pursuing God and how they're pursuing truth, and not assuming that I have an answer to trump what they believe, but just trying to take in all the things that I didn't take in over the years prior. Yeah, I'm just so grateful because I'm in such a contented point of life right now after things were so difficult for so many years. I was also pregnant and had a newborn baby in the midst of the abuse that was happening. And so there was just, everything fell apart. My brain fell apart, everything. But I have this amazing husband, these amazing kids. We've moved, we have a beautiful, beautiful life right now. And so I'm fortunate enough to say, man, I really feel like I have just the space for the first time ever to figure out how to live a balanced life. I like to talk about work-life integration versus work-life balance, because for me, I do technically have a full-time role, and I also am coaching on the side, I'm writing on the side, but I try to balance life in a way that takes care of what the greatest need is in that moment. So if that means at 11 a.m. I need to go downstairs and spend an hour with my kids in the middle of the day because they hadn't seen me too much the 2 days prior because I was working so much, I try to balance it out that way. I think the biggest challenge right now is probably trying to move forward with trying to step in, as I mentioned earlier, to what was I created to do? What was I created to be? How can I be a help? And so right now I am doing a lot of writing, and I'm trying to do a lot of content creation too. I have a TikTok, I started a YouTube channel, all that kind of stuff. And that stuff is a priority to me because it is the long term in terms of I don't even know what's to come. I don't know if I'm going to write novels and books. I don't know if I'm going to speak. I don't know how I'm going to be used to bring hope and encouragement to other people. But I think trying to continue to prioritize that and step forward into that with confidence, instead of feeling like it's awkward to try and get people to listen to me, or, and it's always weird to even try and sell coaching or try to get more clients and things like that. So I think it's definitely a huge task for me and for all women to not apologize for trying to step forward and trying to do good in the world, and not constantly be worrying about how is that going to be perceived, or does it look like I'm just trying to get attention, or what are people on LinkedIn going to say? Do they think that I'm just saying everything that's already been said, and that sort of thing. So working through some of those thoughts and continuing to show up and keep pressing on towards those long-term goals, even though I don't know exactly what those long-term goals look like, I do feel like I very much know what path I'm on. And so to keep going down that and not shrink back. Yeah, I mean, in my current reality, I would say that I really don't feel like there's any other place for me to be right now other than the place that I am. I feel just so incredibly grateful for this new start. And as I mentioned, there's so much unknown in the future, but it feels like there's no way to prepare for that unknown besides what I'm doing right now. I think my dream life would look like right now, writing, speaking, coaching, counseling people. I have so many different things that I feel like I could do, from, local politics to starting businesses, all sorts of different things. And so right now I just feel very excited about the future. And I feel excited about the fact that I don't have an exact view for what that future looks like, but I want to keep moving towards empowering other people to figure out what it is that they're passionate about and they're created to be, and not apologize about that. So what comes to mind, I think, is bravery to try things and be wrong. I think what sets me apart in relationships, whether it's personal, whether it's professional, is that I think I show up in a way that I want to connect with people authentically. So I might be the person at work who's like, can I ask this? I don't know. I want people to feel seen and to feel connected. And from what I hear from other people, that is what they experience from me. And so I think I would sum it up in just the bravery to sort of do things that people are often afraid to do, to just see what happens and be okay if it doesn't work. I would tell that woman to take herself out on a date with a notebook and look deep inside herself and ask what it is that makes her uniquely her, just like that question that you asked at the end, what makes her different, and how she can show up for life in that particular way, not in the way that that I show up, but in the way that she can show up, and how she can do something that scares her, and what her plan is going to be to incrementally get to that place. Because I just think that incremental progress is so critical. Not thinking that you need to create this big schedule for your life where you're going to be, exercising and eating right and spending enough time with your family and work and all of the things, and like achieving it all in one go. But each week sitting down and asking, like, what needs my attention this week? And like, where could I incrementally push each of these different departments of my life that might be, it might be your body that's saying, hey, you've been neglecting me, or it might be your kids that are starting to behave in a way that show that they need more of your attention, or whatever it is. Not to feel pressured and not to immediately fall into what I call like the shame loop or the shame cycle, where it just keeps going around and you just feel like you constantly should be doing something other than what it is that you're doing. But to just calmly be curious about what comes to mind, about what is needed right now in my life, and make those adjustments and confidently move forward in them.
I loved having that interview with her. I loved talking to her. I loved every minute of conversing with Amanda, because she brought it. Yes, she did. No fluff at all. She was here. She owned that spotlight. She spoke her truth. And hey girl, we're here to continue to hear about your growth. We want to hear about your growth. We want to hear your story. So we're going to be following up, of course, as we go along. Feel free to bump into the show anytime and update us on your new discoveries about yourself. What are your thoughts about my guest today? I want to know from you. And also, I am open to having more guests on the show. So, hey, if you're an amazing woman and you have a story to share, I want to spotlight you. I want to hear your story. I want the world to hear your story. This is your platform. This is an opportunity for you to use your own voice to share your story. So, hey, reach out to me and let's have a chat.
Hey girl, I know you've been itching for a vacation. You've had all sorts, but have you experienced a desert vacation? Welcome to Le Mirage Resort and Spa. This beautiful castle you're looking at, it sits just 20 minutes outside of Sosovle, Namibia. With just $150 per night, you can get a room in this tower. And with an additional $60, you can get the Sky Tower room. Yes, breakfast buffet and 5-course dinners are included in that price. Yes, babe, you can have a whole new experience at this resort. Let me know if you'll be visiting this. Of course, make your findings and also give a feedback if you happen to visit Namibia. The plan is for you to experience Africa at its best.
So, this has been the show today. Next week, we'll be spotlighting another amazing woman. Until my next episode, remember that it's okay to be different.